Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 163 and we have a good one for you today, a special one for you here today. Today's Fish Friday is something that a couple of people have requested that I thought would be really cool, so we're finally doing it. A while back I had what I kind of called my prize aquarium. It was this big 250-gallon aquarium that I had built. Obviously I didn't build the aquarium, but you can, by the way. But I had designed the aquarium. It was definitely my pride and joy of the time. We loved it. Me and my wife loved it. It had lights that you could simulate rainstorms, beautiful pieces of wood in there, specific wood, Mapani, I think is what it's called, specific for like underwater aquariums. It had all this different kind of like cryptocorns, which are, a bunch of different sorts of plants. So today's Fish Friday is going to be a kind of a slideshow about the fish that I had in that aquarium. So today's Fish Friday that we're going to be talking about is all of them. But we're going to start off with, bam, the marbled hatchet fish. So when I designed this video, I figured that I'd start from the very top of the aquarium, move my way down to the bottom of the aquarium. When I made this list, I realized by the end of the video, you'll realize this as well, that there is a specific group of fish that apparently I had a lot of affinity for. But the very first is going to be the marbled hatchet fish. These are really small fish called Carneagella striata is the scientific name. These stay at the top. As I said, we're starting at the top of the water, and you can even see here. So this fish is very dorsolaterally compressed, about an inch long. They school, but the way they shine in the aquarium is just absolutely beautiful. The next fish that we're going to be talking that I had in the aquarium that was also in the top was this, a celibus half-beat. Mrs. Ping wanted this fish. I didn't want this fish. I wanted a pure South American community tank. Mrs. Ping said, no, we're getting a couple of different fish that she wanted. So this is one of the things that she wanted, a celibus half-beak. What's interesting about this fish is it is actually a live-bearing fish. So we easily bred these to the point that they were so easily and so prevalent throughout the aquarium. As you can see, it's got this funky nose. They're a cool fish. I'll give them that. They're kind of neat. Why she chose this fish, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was just she saw it in the pet store and was like, cool, I want it. The next one was also Mrs. Ping's favorite and kind of number 3 in the pride of the aquarium. We had a severum cichlid. Now, a lot of times, this is not what a severum cichlid looks like in the wild. They're very different colored. This would be considered the breeding variation of red spotted severum. And it's a really neat fish. This yellow background with these bright red spots. We actually had some people offer us money to buy that fish. Because back then I was very big in the aquarium trade, buying, selling fish, trading fish, things like that. We had a couple of people offer us to pay for this fish. More money than we should have, about $200. So yeah, but Mrs. Ping would not have sold this fish for anyone until we had to move and had to sell the entire thing. But yes, the red spotted severum. Unfortunately, big issue with red spotted severums is they do kind of go after your plants, so you got to be a little careful with them. The next fish is angelfish. Specifically, I should also say celibus half-weeks, no more ramphus limi, which is the scientific name, red spotted severum, Heros asphaciatus. So the angelfish we had Pterophyllum scalare. And we had the wild type. You see angelfish in the stores, they have all different color variations, things like that. This would be more what you would see in the wild, and this is kind of the color pattern that we had. I think they're absolutely beautiful fish. We actually got them to breed a couple of times. Such a neat fish. Next fish that we had was the green neon tetras. Very prevalent in the pet trade. Green neon tetra, Parachirodon simulans. Green neon tetras are absolutely beautiful, very closely related to just the normal neon tetra. Have very similar, but the green neon tetra, it doesn't photograph well, but they do have a different color to their side as compared to the regular neon tetra. Then one of my favorites, the rummy nose tetra. Clown nose, red head, with these sort of like domino tail, kind of clear body. It was so neat to have these school around and all turn in the same school. I thought they were amazing. Mrs. Ping didn't like them. She thought they were dumb, but whatever. So rummy nose tetra, Hemigrammus rudistomus. Next fish was absolutely my number one pride and joy of the aquarium. It took me so long to get this fish in my aquarium that I spent a kind of a stupid amount of money to buy this fish. Well, I consider it stupid, but we don't have to talk about that. The royal farlowell, or Sterisoma aureum. I worked for a royal farlowella and tried to find one for so long. I had gotten scammed and misidentified. People said they were sending me royal farlowellas, and they were sending me, regular farlowellas, some rhinoloricarias, whole bunch of different things. But I finally got one. I absolutely loved it. One of my favorite fish in the world. I think it's beautiful. It might be my favorite because I worked so hard to get it, but it's still there. So the next one that I had that I enjoyed is farlowellas, the twig catfish. The species I had that I believe I had Farlowella acus. Farlowellas are a little difficult to ID down to species, but I do believe I had Farlowella acus in my aquarium. Another suckermouth catfish, if you couldn't tell from the Sterisoma. It is another suckermouth. But I love these. They do really good on logs and plants and things like that. Really blend in. I think they're beautiful. Next one that I had was another one kind of like that. A red whiptail catfish. Kind of bland, honestly, but I fell in love with these. They're really neat. Red whiptail catfish, I can't remember the species I had. Rhinoloricaria is sort of like the generalized whiptail catfish that are sold in the aquarium trade, but these are the red whiptail. This would be very similar to what I had, and I remember IDing it down to species by looking at the scoots on the belly of all things. So I did ID it, but it took some time. But red whiptail, it's pretty good. I loved it. Then what was the pride and joy of the aquarium, hands down, was the black ghost knifefish, which is Apteronotus albifrons. The black ghost knifefish, these fish, we've talked about them on Fish Friday. They actually get significantly big, very, very large. They're huge fish when they grow up to their full size, but they usually don't do well in aquariums due to lack of hiding space, nutrition problems, things like that. And the easiest way to tell is to look actually at the tail. If the tail has a good fin on the back, it's usually extremely healthy. Ours is one of the largest that I've ever seen in a home aquarium. Usually, they don't grow as large as we got them, or they die beforehand. Ours had gotten up to about 9 to 10 inches. They can get up to like 2-3 feet, I think. But yeah, ours had gotten up there. Usually they don't make it past 5. So it was kind of like the unseen pride of the aquarium. The next fish that we're going to talk about, now we're getting way down on the bottom. Bronze corydora, Corydorus anus. Corydorus anus was, kind of like my fish I got to clean the rocks, but I wanted something that was it was good at it, and I liked. And so I chose the corydoras. But I chose two different species, the bronze cory and the peppered corydoras, which are corydorus paleadis. The two combined, they kind of school together. They're almost like a schooling fish that will clean your gravel. They do it exceedingly well. And I really enjoyed them. They were a really good fish. I liked them so much. But if you can't tell, if you can't tell, a lot of fish that we have been talking about, and it is no mistake moving forward, turns out I really like catfish in aquarium. We've talked about royal farlowell, twig catfish, red whiptail catfish, bronze cories, peppered cory. The next one, Otosinkless catfish. These aren't quite on the bottom. They're more of your like mid-water suckermouth catfish, but they're so beautiful. Oto catfish, Otosinkless. I could never ID mine down to species. Quite frankly, didn't take too much time to try, but I love these. They're very small, very small. Very good for like tabletop or desk aquariums. Really, really good aquarium cleaner. And then we got another catfish. This was one of Mrs. Ping's favorite, the Bristlenose pleco and Citrus cirrhosis. This thing gets absolutely massive. It gets these funky nose hairs. Ours got pretty dang big. I was ready to get rid of it. It was monstrous, and it was kind of hard to keep them fed. But yes, another catfish. And then another catfish, the rubber lip pleco. This is actually one of Mama Ping's favorite fish. She loves rubber lip plecos. These are kind of your smaller pleco. They're actually not a pleco. They're Catastoma millisci. I've got my list right here. That's why I keep looking over here for scientific names. Catastoma millisci. Miles eye, whatever. These are plecos, but they have really thick lips, and they really love hanging out on the aquarium sides, which is why they are a favorite in the aquarium trade, because they're more often seen than like your Bristlenose plecos and your others. Then we got our next catfish, but it is our final catfish, the Banjo catfish. I talked about it in a very recent Fish Friday video, Bunocephalus coracoides. This is just a cool ass fish. I love this fish. It was so neat. It didn't do much for the aquarium because you never saw it unless you dug through the gravel, but knowing it was in there made me happy. So I got a Banjo cat, and I'll have another Banjo cat whenever we do our next one. Now, for the final thing that I had in my aquarium, which was 100% Mrs. Ping. I hated it every day, and was very glad. One day we woke up, oh no, it had choked. It had tried to eat a peppered cory, and it died. Mrs. Ping was very sad. I was not, because this thing ate so much of my damn fish. The African clawed frog, Xenopus laevis, called the clawed frog because it has these little tiny claws down here. It is one of the only species of fully aquatic frogs in the world. She had an albino one like this. I hated it. I didn't want it there, but Mrs. Ping absolutely insisted and ticked me off. It ate so much of my fish. Yeah. We did talk about this in on my other series, Herp Mondays, which is no longer up and running right now, but I do still have quite a few herp videos. So if you are interested in herps and reptiles, go check that one out. So I'm not ending the video on this picture. No, just, I won't do it. I won't do it. We'll go to marbled hatchet fish. We're going to end it on the marbled hatfish. This one took a lot of time as well, but thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do, I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated. Regardless, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and peace.